Okay. Hey guys, what's up? You can't answer the question. Anyways, welcome back to Zillennial Support Group with your hosts, Maria and Silvana. Today, we are recasting and rebooting old TV shows and old favorite movies from our Zillennial past, and talking about our little ideas for new shows and new movies. Our
Please
own little
don't.
reboot of our own since
Please.
we talked about Powerpuff Girls and iCarly coming back and we judged their reboots. Now we get to judge our own.
But also, please don't big fat liar us.
Wait, what's Big
What
Fat
if
Liar?
we see our our shows verbatim on on air?
Oh. Yeah, copyrighted 2021
Yeah,
Marian
we're saying
Silvana.
it.
This is I think if we publish it in the Creative Commons license under YouTube, I think anyone can have it.
Well, I think
um
a narrative podcast is considered IP if you publish it anywhere.
oh,
So
true. We do publish
IP
it.
IP laws. I feel
We
like
have
I'm
that
calling it
RSS
out.
feed.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean when just keeps saying like parlay over and over again.
Parlay. Oh. Also,
IP.
controversial. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean, or does it change with context?
I never know what to do because I think Pirates of the Caribbean can only be Caribbean. I've never heard anyone say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Because that's the thing is that I say Pirates of the Caribbean,
Hmm.
but if someone's from the islands of the Caribbean, I
Hmm.
say, oh, she's from the Caribbeans,
Hmm.
or she is Caribbean. I don't say she is Caribbean, you know?
Sounds like caribou.
but but I don't know if I say Caribbean in any other I say like the Caribbean Sea,
Mm,
you know?
yeah.
So I don't know the reason behind the different contexts, but I don't know.
We
I've
were
got some
taught
sort of method.
the American education system.
Yeah. But it's kind of like pecan or pecan, that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But
Wait, what do you say?
I like don't know. I think I say pecan pie
Mm.
and then I say pecans as just like the nut.
There are like two words that I feel very like self-conscious with, and
Mm-hmm.
I never know how to say them. One
Ooh,
is okay, how do you say a place that like holds historical artifacts?
a graveyard? I don't know what you're saying.
Like a
Oh, a
place you
museum?
Yeah.
A
I used
museum.
to say museum,
Some people say museum.
but then everyone bullied me for it. So now I say it in my head as like museum. And then okay, if you're like walking with a historian or like a curator that works at at the museum, what are you going on?
A, oh, that one also changes with context for
Mhm.
me. It's a tour. I say tour.
I
I
say
say I'm
tour too.
following Paramore on tour. But I know a lot of people, I don't know if it's like a Midwest thing. They say tour.
Yes. That is not
Yeah.
UO.
But then I don't know, because when I was a kid, I'd be like, oh, I have a soccer tournament. But then I had people in my life say, no, you have a soccer tournament. And I'm like, it's not a turn, it's a tour.
Well, because that's
Tournament.
like I don't know, I would be talking with friends and then they would be like, "Oh, how's your job as like a tour guide?"
Tour. It's like a
What do I?
connoisseur. Like they should have spelled
Yeah.
it with an E. Or a tourist.
Mm,
I say
yeah.
tourist more than tourist,
I think I say
but because
tourist.
Taurus sounds like a Taurus zodiac sign, so I
Yeah.
think I differentiate it there. But tourist, like I think it's kind of like if you say sure or
Mhm.
sure, you know, or
Oh yeah.
sure, as what's her face from The Notebook says or
Yeah.
pronounce, because people pronounce stuff differently in the 50s. But I
Yeah.
remember the ABC Family promo for whenever they replayed The Notebook on TV. RIP ABC Family. um, they'd have he like asks her out on a date or something. It's just like a shot,
Oh yeah.
like a cut of a shot of her face where she's like smiling and she's like, sure. And I'm like, no
Well,
one ever says sure like that.
I think of White Christmas
Oh yeah.
when like the guy like they're trying to hook him up with someone and
Hook
then
up.
he's like, "How are you doing?" And she goes, Mutual, I'm sure.
That's so weird.
My
It's like
favorite.
technically nothing offensive, but that was deeply inappropriate to
She's
say.
incredible. And then there's that one point where two
Yeah.
characters get engaged, and she goes, "Wish it would happen to me." And then the guy says, "So do the rest of us."
Oh my God.
Okay, but iCarly.
Anyways. Oh yeah, so just like last episode, I have updates from the previous episode. So last time I had only watched the first episode of the iCarly reboot, just the pilot. And I have since watched like the other 2 or 3 episodes that are available on Paramount Plus. I just kind of like let it play through, and then it was up and I was like, okay, I guess I'm done. But yeah, so I also found out that not only is Esther Pavitsky helping executive produce the show, but Francesca Ramsey is also producing. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name, but she's
Like
also
Gordon?
executive producing the show as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I haven't, done the due diligence of Googling a ton, but she was one of the correspondents on The Daily Show back when Jon Stewart was there. And I loved her. And I think she came and talked at our college a few
We've
times, or maybe
mentioned it
once.
multiple times what it's called.
But like, I like to keep the mystery alive,
For our
Also,
our new fans.
yeah, also talking about mystery, little detour. I'm If you just happen to be watching this on YouTube, I'm not that sweaty, but my apartment has no air conditioning anymore. So I am glistening a little. Also, my hair is wet though. I
Or you
didn't
could
just
be a
like soak my
vampire.
hair with sweat. I take everything back. I'm a vampire. This is me
In the sun.
addressing this to our audience before I get canceled for being non-human. Anyways, so
This is your
iCarly.
early apology video.
I'm yes.
I'm sorry for those I've stuck my teeth into. I realize now
Actually,
it was
yeah.
foolish.
All the kids I used to know in elementary school are coming out of the woodwork and being like, yeah, fuck that girl. She liked Twilight too much. Anyways, so last episode, sort of like fact checking myself here, I said that they didn't do the whole like Apple Pear products switch thing that Nickelodeon used to do all the time, or maybe it still does. I haven't watched Nickelodeon in a hot sec, but I said they didn't do it anymore. They do still do it. They call it a Pear phone, but they don't have that like intense Pear logo on all the stuff anymore. They just called it once a Pear phone. But besides that, the show definitely got a lot more winky. Like they winked to like old iCarly memes or old Megan from Drake and Josh memes. And they're definitely like doing that fan service of like winking at the audience multiple times. And it got a little, I don't want to say edgier, but the script got a little bit more like her best friend makes a reference to at one point Carly's friend Harper references furries, like that fetish community. I'm not gonna say anymore, but they make a reference to that. So they're being a little bit more risque and stuff. And they make a bit, a dirty joke here and there. They have this whole storyline about Spencer ordering what he thinks is like a task rabbit, but he ends up ordering an eager bunny, which is like a sex worker, instead of like someone who comes to your house to like do a household chore for money. But my last little update on the iCarly reboot is that I think it's like the last episode that's up currently as of the last week of June. Is that Spencer low-key had a little Bo Burnham moment at the end of the last episode where he puts on this art exhibit criticizing social media and influencers and the nature of living your life to display to others. And he sort of critiques it. And iCarly, oh my God, just Carly. Her name's just Carly. But Carly gets offended, and then they have this whole sort of like discussion. And then she ends up apologizing and is like, yeah, you were pretty valid in your criticism. So it's like very Bo Burnham-esque of like, our iPhones are destroying our minds. We're all going to have dissociative mental disorders. So it's very interesting, very like timely of the moment. I don't know when they wrote that script or if they, were sensing that Bo Burnham was going to create something with a similar
IP,
similar argument.
IP.
Yeah, but in the back of my head, I had thought that Bo Burnham had guest starred on iCarly because he was like from that era of YouTube, like with Fred, sort of. Fred did guest star, but Bo Burnham didn't. He actually guest starred on Parks and Rec, and that's the guest spot that I was thinking of. So he has a little like obnoxious teen country star moment in his role in Parks and Rec for a hot sec. Very, very well done. Yeah, he's the kind of comedian who I don't necessarily follow, but every time I like ingest a new piece of content that he's created, I'm like, yeah, that was really good. Good job. He's like a decent actor and like a decent singer, as well as like being funny and also existential, and uses words like pedagogic, oh fuck, pedagogically, pedagogically, pedag.
Bo, come on
Guggenheim?
the podcast to teach us words.
Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, those are my updates for the previous episode. And now on to I'm not gonna make a drum roll. This whole setup is way too delicate. But now on to the main part of this episode.
The main course, if you will.
Oh yes. We sort of like had a few unplanned salad courses for you today, but now we got to the meat, the meat of it. But
what if they're vegetarian?
Tofu meat, I actually bought some plant-based Italian sausage from Trader Joe's the other day. It was okay. I think I got the wrong brand. But anyways, okay. So now we are going to each go through, we've picked 3 ideas each to sort of reimagine an old Zillennial favorite from our childhood, whether it be a TV show or a movie. We're either going to reboot it, remake it, or sort of like age it up a little bit, and sort of like pick a new genre or like see what kind of tone this new iteration of this media will take. So we were kind of inspired by a few TikToks that we've seen. There was one where a girl reimagined like the Phineas and Ferb world, but with like live action, like real humans, not a cartoon. And then so she casted everything and sort of aged it up as like teenagers, as sort of like an A24 coming of age story, which I thought was really cool. And then also I was inspired by the TikTok account. I think it's called Classic Lore, as in like the first part of Lauren. Love her account. I think she's great. She's great hair. But that's besides the point. But it's like kind of hair goals, but I'm also like cutting my hair really soon because like I realize that long hair is just too much of a hassle for me. Side note. But she did a whole TikTok series about recasting the Twilight franchise with like modern day actors as like a Netflix series, like mini series type thing with like a different tone. And she sort of like edited the plot lines and sort of evolved the characters into like better characters because she's like low-key a better writer than Stephanie Myers. But yeah, I loved how creative it was and how she really got into like the world building and sort of like really coloring in all these characters that were sort of like not as huge in the books and just really exploring it in this new medium. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. We've each brought to the table 3 ideas. So we're going to go through them and see what you guys think. I think Mari has also, wrote a little something for us too, like a scene or two for some of them. But do you want to go first, Maria?
Whichever.
I think you're gonna go first. Okay. I think I'm volunteering you as tribute.
So the first one is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which was a show on like the Cartoon Network in the 2000s about these imaginary friends. Like once the humans, I guess, like give them up, they go to a foster home so that they can be adopted by new humans. And then this character Mac is like told by his parents that he can't have his imaginary friend Blue around anymore. And so he makes a deal with like Madame Foster to keep Blue at the foster home as long as he visits every single day. They won't give him away or anything.
It's like an open adoption.
Yeah. But so I made it into like I don't know what is it 20th Century now? Is that 20th Century Fox?
20th Century
I
Fox?
think that Disney cut out the Fox.
Ooh, I
They
have
didn't
no
want
idea
any.
actually.
Yeah. And so
I
it's
think it
kind
is,
of
yeah.
it's
Sorry,
like
continue.
it's a complete ripoff of Miss Peregrine's Home for peculiar children. And so it's a little like darker. I'm imagining like also like Tim
Ooh.
Burton eyes and stuff, and it's just kind of creepy.
Oh.
Um,
Okay, so I hate Tim Burton, but I do like the Miss Peregrine series. So I'm just
yeah.
gonna ignore the Tim Burton part.
Um, so the log line is um, when human teenager Mac finds himself out of place in Foster's home for imaginary friends, all he can do is wait for his family to come find him. Meanwhile, something is preying on the imaginary friends, and maybe Mac was sent here for a reason to find a way to stop it.
Ooh,
So Mac is played by
suspense.
Finn Wolfhard,
Oh my God, yeah.
and he's just
That totally makes sense.
So I changed a little bit. So he's just a normal American boy who loves swimming and video games. And then he has a brother, Sam, um, who's played by Noah Schnapp. I think that's his name, Schnapp. I don't know. From
Schnapp,
Yeah,
schnapp,
those are the
schnapp,
two from Stranger Things.
schnapp.
And he's Mac's brother who also loves swimming, video games, but also like hanging out with his friends. And then Blue is played by Jack Black. I don't know. I just felt like that worked. And he's a blue domed cylinder who's super narcissistic and sarcastic. He carries around a paddle ball who he's drawn a face on. He named him Ted. He pretends it's all a joke. But when he's alone, he speaks to him as if he was his former human, a 10-year-old boy named Ted who moved out of Wyoming and into Florida and decided to leave him behind.
Wow.
So it's dark. And
I've
then
never met a child named Ted, so I
Yeah,
like
no, I
Teddy.
don't know. And then Wilt is played by Michael Jordan because it's time he had another big part after Space Jam.
Of course.
Um, and he's a tall and kind red thin creature with only one arm and a crooked eye. He's super welcoming, but he feels a lot of guilt for abandoning his human, something imaginary friends never do. He was cast out of his last foster home for this until Madame Foster found him and brought him here. And then Eduardo is Javier Bardem, and
Oh my God.
he's a big, hairy, and purple creature with horns. He has increased anxiety disorder and doesn't really come out of his shell much, but he's fiercely
Same.
protective.
Aw.
And then Coco is Kristen Wiig. Does that make sense to me?
I love
She's
Kristen
a
Wiig.
she's a chicken-like creature who likes to dance and lay eggs with things inside. Usually whatever she creates turns dark within the day. Like if she produces a puppy, it will turn into a beast with menacing teeth. It wasn't always like this. When she had her human, all of her things would stay nice. She can only say her name and people tend to write her off. This next one I think is really good. So Frankie Foster, who is Madame Foster's granddaughter who wanted to do more with her life, but she's stuck here, is played by Kristen Stewart, and I feel like it's a
Oh my
really good
God.
casting.
Perfect.
And then Mr. Harriman is Michael Caine, who's an old rabbit created by Madame Foster. He tries to control things around the house, but no one gives him respect. Madame Foster's Dame Judy Dench. Um, she's the owner of the foster home. She can have lots of energy and create some wacky inventions. And then I went with Will Ferrell. He's just kind of
I
crazy, but
see
he's
that.
smarter than he looks. And then I created another character named Mirror, who's played by Millie Bobby Brown.
Ooh.
And she's just been dropped by her human Emily, and she's super depressed. Emily created her to help relay their memories because Mirror's stomach can turn into a mirror that reflects the past.
Oh,
So this is
wow.
like a
That's
film.
dark.
Yeah, it's like a film adaptation, and then I have a whole treatment.
That's amazing. Oh my God. I did not put this much effort into it. I was so busy. I'm so sorry. But also, oh my God, Maria, you're amazing.
So the opening image is a montage of two brothers, Sam and Mac, swimming in this great big pool, splashing around, diving. And when it gets too cold, they go into the hot tub, next the sauna. Then they go inside and are greeted by freshly baked cookies on the kitchen counter. And then it's video games on a massive TV. Much like the White House, these brothers live in the largely recognized green striped house, which is on a plaque out front. Then the theme is stated when later on Sam and Mac get bullied for these awful matching sweaters. Their mother put them in for picture day at school. Their teacher helps them feel better by telling them to just pretend they're wearing the most fashionable outfits of all time. Sam asks, "And how will pretending make it better?" The teacher says, "Sometimes you just need to pretend long enough for it to feel real." And then the setup is Sam starts pulling away from Mac, hanging out with his own friends and leaving Mac at home. Mac has to swim in this great big pool alone, the hot tub alone, the sauna alone, one baked cookie alone, video games alone. They're all multiplayer, so he loses. And when Sam comes back home, Mac waves from the bunk bed, but Sam doesn't even respond. They go to bed. And then the catalyst, Mac wakes up in a mysterious new room with Blue, Wilt, and Eduardo staring at him. He's in a different house. He asks where he is. They say he's in the foster home for imaginary friends. He is confused and asks how he got there. They bring in Madame Foster, who explains to him um, that they just found him collapsed on the side of the road and brought him in. But he says that he needs to get back to his brother, Sam. There's no time, and he's not like the rest of them. But they give him a place to stay while they try to find his home. He says he needs to go home, but he doesn't remember where home is. And he says that he lives in the famous green striped mansion with a huge pool in the backyard, but no one can find that on Google. And so he decides to wait until Sam and the rest of his family come looking for him, and he'll wait until he can see wanted posters or some other kind of thing. And then break into two. Max sees imaginary friends wheeled out in a gurney. He asks how something imaginary can die. They say they don't know. Something is preying on them. A black dot forms on their
Oh
hands,
my
and then the
God.
next day they die. It's
Oh
dark.
my God. Wait, that's totally a plot from Doctor Who, though.
Yeah. And then the B story, a new imaginary friend arrives Mirror. She looks like a normal girl, but she can reflect flashbacks. She won't talk to anyone. Um, uh, Frankie, Madame Foster's granddaughter, finds out the imaginary friend she lived alongside didn't make it. So she also died. Everyone
Oh
just dies.
God.
And then, but despite everything, Mac enjoys meeting the imaginary friends. He learns everyone's special skills, and he even gets Mirror to open up. She's like his love interest. And then Coco starts kind of like losing it and yelling at people with her name, and no one really knows why. And then suddenly Coco drops dead, and they
Oh my
realize she
God.
had the black spot and couldn't communicate that to anyone. And Mirror has a vision, and this is where it gets stupid. She shows Coco's human in real time, and it's basically like a thing about what's causing the imaginary kids to die is that if they don't get adopted, then they're linked to like their human's imagination. And if they lose their imagination and move on to like corporate America, then the
Oh
imaginary
my God.
imagination is over and they die.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And then everyone's
Wow.
mourning,
The
and then
true
everyone
horror.
starts forming black dots, including Mirror and Mac. Mac doesn't understand. He says he'll go tell a hospital or authorities, but they explain no one will see him. Madame Foster admits he's an imaginary friend. Mirror shows him his real past. There was no swimming pool, no hot tub, no sauna, no chocolate chip cookie. It was all imaginary.
Oh no.
And
Wait, this is terrifying.
Matt
Also, I
can't,
love how capitalism kills
yeah.
imagination.
And then Matt can't
Yeah,
accept
don't
this.
tell Disney because they have that
Yeah,
whole Imagineering thing. But
right.
yeah, continue.
Matt can't accept this and decides to run away. He tries to find Sam to get him to believe him. But then Mac realizes it never mattered if Sam believed in him because he believed in Sam. He runs back to the foster house, and then this is the part where I wrote this is it's abbreviated version. It would be much more suspenseful. And but this is the scene in which the awkward lead explains his true feelings for the manic pixie dream girl by explaining mundane things he loves about her.
Oh
Um,
my God.
Mac runs into Foster's home, dripping wet, even though we don't remember seeing it raining in the previous scene. The other imaginary friends are hugging each other and saying their goodbyes. Lou hugs a paddle and then breaks it, realizing nothing matters. He looks over to see Mac. Lou, if it isn't our least imaginary friend, what are you doing back here? Mac, I realized it was wrong to run away from you all, especially in a time like this. Lou, so you came back just in time for us to all die together? How poetic. Mac, listen, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Gather everyone and bring them into the dining room, Blue. Blue, why? Mac, just do it. We cut to closed doors. Mac breathes deeply. Mac, this has gotta work. He opens the door. All of the imaginary friends are sitting at the table. Frankie stands protective around her grandmother. Wilt, we're so glad you're back, Mac. Ha, back, Mac, a rhyme. I don't know. He's the comedic relief. Mac, yeah, I'm sorry I ran off. Mirror is avoiding eye contact. Mac, Mirror? Mirror, I'm not talking to you. But if I were to talk to you, I would tell you that what you did was stupid, abandoning us in a moment of crisis. Mac, I know, I'm sorry. Mirror whispers something to Eduardo. Eduardo, she says she's done speaking to you, Mac. Mac sighs. Mac, listen, everyone. I know I screwed up. I get it. It was wrong to run away, but I just couldn't come to terms with the idea that I was imaginary, or even that I was dying because Sam stopped believing in me. And then I realized that there were so many signs that he was pulling away from me, but it didn't matter because I always believed in him. And I thought we could try something. I don't know if it'll work, but sometimes you have to pretend something is real, and when you do that long enough, it becomes real. Frankie, does anyone think Mac hit his imaginary head? Mac, mirror. Mirror whispers something to Eduardo. Eduardo, she wants to make it clear that she's still mad at you. Mac, it's okay. You don't have to talk. You just have to listen.
Oh.
Mac takes Mirror's hand. Mirror, I love that you stick your tongue out when you're concentrating. I tried to make this the worst it could be.
No, dude, one time I stuck my tongue out while I was concentrating on like picking up a box at my cafe, and my literal boss standing right next to me was like, "Don't stick your tongue out." So that
I
just like triggered me. Continue. You're doing so
I
well.
love that you see the best in people. I love that you bite your nails and then paint them neon to try to hide it, but we all know it's there. I love when you tuck your hair behind your ears so I can see your face clearly. It doesn't matter if Emily doesn't believe in you because I believe in you. You're real and you're beautiful. A glow of light forms.
I love how that describes every girl.
I know. Mirror, my spot, it's gone. Suddenly, the whole room turns into imaginary friends telling each other they believe in each other. Um, Mirror, thank you. Mac, you're talking to me again? Mirror, for now. So you can tell when I bite my nails? Mac, yeah, but I love that. Mirror,
Ew.
I just wish we had figured this all out before we lost Coco. Mac, maybe we don't have to. The two hold hands and close their eyes. Coco forms. All of the imaginary friends crowd around her.
Oh.
Mirror, I believe in you too, by the way. Mac just smiles. Someone believes in him finally. And it's enough. End of film.
Oh my God. I can't believe you just broke my heart in like 5 minutes.
So that's my take on Foster's Home for Imaginary
to the
Friends.
chest. Oh my God. Anyways, that was beautiful. Oh my God. I had sort of, because I remember I'd always loved that show. But I like definitely forgot the premise because like the show can get pretty wacky.
Mhm.
But I would love to see you work into your rewrite the puns blue cheese and mac and cheese.
That's
Not
good.
enough Will Ferrell. I have a love-hate relationship with him, but I'm willing to put that aside for the cheese pun.
Thank you.
But I think those might be copyrighted anyways. But that's so cute. I love how deep it got, and it felt very authentic too of like the story. But I also what was I gonna say? Yeah, it felt very like that part in Harry Potter where I think Dumbledore is like, or someone was like, "Oh, just because it happens inside your head doesn't mean it's not real." I was like, "Oh, my man." Also, there's a quote, I don't know what from, where it's a guy's like, "I don't believe in anything, but if I believe in one thing, I believe in her." And it's like a huge romantic thing. I have no idea where that's from though, but I remember a girl on YouTube saying it and she's quoting something. So if anyone can find what she's quoting, like let me know. But I loved that. That was so precious. Oh my God. I love that. That got real deep, but it was also like an authentic like interpretation. Like you didn't like create meaning out of nothing, you know, like it was definitely like those layers were there. I love it. That was so good. Oh my God.
Okay, your turn.
Okay. So guys, I'm not good at pitching. Two, I did not spend as much time on this as Maria did. My life is pretty crazy. And hectic right now. I'm not like, my life is crazy, but it's just my AC is out and I'm like going kind of crazy. Anyways, so what actually inspired me to do this besides the TikToks was that like I think maybe 4 months ago I watched Mystic Pizza, the movie with one of the girls who went on to star as like one of the daughters in the West Wing, which is like really irrelevant. But it stars Julia Roberts before she like had her big break as Pretty Woman. And it's about this seaside town in Connecticut. And these like three Portuguese girls in like the Portuguese community that apparently exists in Seaside, Connecticut.
Why is
and
every show feels like it's seaside? I don't know why.
Right? We love the sea. But and it sort of follows them like at the cusp of like graduating high school, the cusp of adulthood. They're not really college bound except for this one girl who's like, I think she had just finished high school. She just graduated. And it sort of follows these like three best friends that are like very different and trying to like work out what they want in life in their own little ways. And so the movie opens up with one girl, one of the girls, JoJo, on her wedding day, and she ends up being a runaway bride, which is another movie Julia Roberts goes on to star in, but with Richard Gere as well. But I also watched that movie. Not as good, but okay. So yeah, so they have these like, I don't know, like the real ethnic history, which is probably an interesting thing to look into of Connecticut / Mystic Pizza, but they're all Portuguese. So it's sort of like My Big Fat Greek Wedding type of cultural movie where it's like the main plot is the love storylines, but them being Portuguese is like a big part of it. But mainly it follows these three girls because they all work together at a pizza shop called Mystic Pizza. And it's this like shop that apparently has the best pizza in Connecticut. And it's led by the maker of the pizza, this like very like mama bear woman that's like tough love, but like I'll protect you at any cost, and like fuck everyone, I love you, but also like cut your shit, that kind of, you know, mother figure. Which we love to see. And so I felt like that kind of like post schooling, like what is love, what is life, who am I, what do I want, that kind of like coming of age story was very like A24, but also like very of the moment. Like I feel like that's a very Zillennial story to tell right now, because I feel like Zillennials are all in that kind of like, I'm post grad, but I'm flailing, and what taxes, anyways. So I felt like that was like a pretty good, like when I watched this movie, I like really resonated with it. I'm not Portuguese, but I love Julia Roberts' hair, and that's what I aspire to be one day. But
there's so much. You're like, I'm inspired by hair.
I really am inspired by hair. I scheduled a hair appointment the other day, and I like a lot of emotions. Anyways, so to paint out these three characters, the main character is obviously Julia Roberts, which is, she's a very like bad girl, like not good in school, but like dated all the boys, had all the fun experiences, gets the girls to take risks, but also is like, she lives that way because she knows that like it's all the excitement she's going to get. Like she's never going to leave this town. Like she's not smart enough to like go to school and get out or get a good enough job to get out. She's like, I'll be making pizzas and serving pizza the rest of my life, so might as well, you know, get drunk and have some fun. Very service industry. I felt that way at one point, and I was like, I'll just make coffee for the rest of my life and it'll be fine because at least I can afford Paramore tickets. And then, you know, COVID happened and we can't see concerts anymore, so my will to live diminished a little, but
for some reason
I'm not working in the service industry anymore. That's a plus.
I think that I don't know why this just came to me. Maybe I'm drunk, I don't know, but
Ooh.
maybe people have thought about this. But since you're talking about pizza and now Paramore, I think someone should make a Paramore pizza shop called like Paramore.
Oh my god, because it's a town. That would be amazing. Actually, fun fact, I think it was the last Paramore show I went, no, it's the second to last Paramore show I went to. I had pizza right before I like went into the pit because I was like, oh, I haven't eaten anything in a few hours. Like I'm not going to faint at a Paramore show. I'm too good for that. I know when to hydrate and when to eat. So I ate a slice of pizza and it was pretty good.
Paramore.
Yeah. And I
When
was
the
like,
moon is this guy like a big pizza pie? Is this big pie? Paramore.
yeah. Anyways, so actually the word paramour means for love. It also means secret lover. Both ideas are pertinent to this movie. So basically, it follows these three girls and their sort of love storylines they have during this one summer. And so in Connecticut, the seaside town, a lot of tourists come in. Um, and so, mixes up the dating pool a little bit. But yeah, back to fleshing out these characters. That's Julia Roberts' character. Sorry, my phone's going crazy. No one else can hear the notifications, but I'm like being bombarded right now. I'm
popular.
It's I know like two people, it's fine. But yeah, so the second character is actually Julia Roberts' character's younger sister, who is the polar opposite. Whereas her older sister is like this like fun party girl who's like confident and like experienced with guys. We have this very studious, very like proper and polite young girl who has gotten all the good grades. She has, I think, a scholarship to go to college after the summer, and she's very nervous about it. Her whole life has been building up to this like one goal of going to college and like getting a scholarship so she can make it out of this town. And so to make some money during the summer, she gets a summer job babysitting for a local couple. And they need a babysitter because the wife works and she's actually working abroad for the summer. So the dad, being helpless as men were in the late 80s and still are, needed a nanny to help with the little girl. I think she's like 4 or 5 in the movie. I have no idea. I don't know children. I don't know a single child. None children. Anyways, actually one of my favorite bands is called Now Now Every Children, but they go by Now Now anymore. So no children, none children. Anyways, but there is a child in the movie. And so her storyline is sort of like this innocent girl gets corrupted by this supposedly nice and nerdy dad. And he ends up seducing her, which is not okay. She's very young. Not okay. Also, he's married. Come on. Not okay.
None children and none men. That's the moral of the story.
And so it's sort of like this very innocent, very by the book girl sort of like experiencing heartbreak and betrayal for the first time. And then the third is the girl that we open with who, got engaged right out of high school, marrying her high school sweetheart, but is scared shitless of marriage and the fact that she's going to be with him for the rest of her life and that her life could look the same forever, and that, is scary to come to terms with, even if you're looking at a life with a person you love. So the opener of the movie is her running away from this guy who's a very, working class guy, just like her. And they have this sort of like on and off, we love each other, but what is commitment? And like, do you just want to marry me for sex? Because it's the 80s, so we're not really allowed to have sex until we're married. That kind of thing, on and off until the end of the movie. But so it helps if you see the trailer. I feel like no one's going to have watched the movie Mr. Pizza, but
I like pizza.
People know what Julia Roberts looks like, or at least what she used to look like, with that huge, long, reddish hair. Beautiful, beautiful. But as was tradition in the 80s and for a long time, all the characters were casted. They're sort of like, late teens, like very, very early 20s. Like the drinking age, I don't think was 21 yet, that kind of era of time. But I feel like Hollywood definitely like hires actors that are older than they really are, and so you don't really get how young all these people in the story are and how it sort of changes the perspective a little bit. So I try to like be faithful to how young they are in real life, and cast actresses that are like actually that age, but it's really hard. And also, okay, so let me start with the Julia Roberts character. Her name is Daisy, by the way. This is all over the place, but I really liked the idea of her being played by Odessa Azion is, I think, how you pronounce the name. She's one of the actresses from the Netflix show Grand Army, which recently got canceled and people are very upset. But I think she dated Will Smith's son at one point, or they were like buds. I have no idea. But she's really good. Her character on that Netflix show is like a similar, like, fuck the patriarchy, like she's got like big curly hair kind of thing going on. Very similar vibes. And I thought she'd be perfect, has that like who cares attitude. And she has the curly hair going for her. And then for her younger sister character, whose name is Kat, their last name is Arjuro, Arujo. I think it's Portuguese. I don't know how to speak Portuguese, so I hope I'm saying it right. And so she's a bit, has straight hair and a little bit more prim and proper. And I thought the perfect girl to play her would be Odeya Rush. Very similar name, and they look similar enough to be sisters, but not like too similar. And she has straight hair. And she's played a variety of characters in the past, but I think she can play a very sweet character very well. And she does look young. So she sort of like fits that type as well. I don't know any actual Portuguese actresses that are like American and like in Hollywood. And so I ended up going with two Jewish girls. And so they do have that like shared ethnicity to be like sisters, and then also like have it be an ethnicity that's like not regular Connecticut white, Yeah. But also it's like, if I'm going to be faithful to the Portuguese roots of Mystic Pizza, like I probably have to do more research on like, do actual Portuguese people live in this one town? I don't know. I've been to Connecticut, but not Mystic. It's also set in a town, Mystic, Connecticut, which is why it's called Mystic Pizza. The pizza isn't mystic or mystical. Yeah, it took me like watching the movie to figure that out. And then the runaway bride character, who's sweet, but also, has that on and off feisty relationship. I liked the idea of Sierra Ramirez from the TV show Fosters. So she's been playing a teenager for a long time. And so I think she's set to play, young 20s, married young, but not in school anymore. But she's actually 26. She's kind of like late 20s. But she's very petite and looks very young for her age, as most beautiful Hispanic women do. A wink to no one. Anyway. And so I thought she'd have that perfect, like spunky and like sort of sweet energy. And then for the boys. So the boy characters, Julia Roberts' character falls in love with a rich boy. So you have like the poor feisty girl and the polite rich white boy. Star-crossed lovers, different worlds, have to work out their differences to find love. And so in the movie, he's very like white, waspy guy. And actually the character's younger brother is played by Matt Damon. So like halfway through the movie, you just get a surprise Matt Damon, which is his total shtick. Like there's so many movies with surprise Matt Damon halfway through. And he started that trend when he was literally like 10 years old. Crazy. But I wanted to find a young actor that had that like clean, white bread, well-groomed appearance. And I tried to find like a blonde guy, but that curly haired white boy, soft boy trend of the moment is just so strong. All of the boys I found have curly brown hair. So not that Connecticut waspy white aesthetic, but I went with none other than our favorite Joshua Bassett, because I feel like he looks pretty clean cut.
I knew you were going to say that too.
Did you?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Joshua? I guess you don't know the guy I'm basing him off of, but I sort of like a very clean cut, comes from money, wears Patagonia.
He just had like a health scare or something.
He had a health scare?
Yeah, apparently like, I don't know, he had something where he was in the hospital and they're like, if I didn't go to the hospital, they said I would have died in like my apartment.
Oh my God,
I didn't read the whole thing. It was like a BuzzFeed article.
That must have come out today because I literally was Googling him last night. But
apparently like 2 days after Olivia Rodrigo's like driver's license broke or something.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, I feel like he just captured that like privileged but nice guy energy.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have that like really rich but like kind of good guy in like our AP history class or something. But the next guy, the sort of like cute nerdy dad who crosses a line, is not a good guy. I thought Adam Brody, because he was that like sort of nerdy teen heartthrob in the 2000s, and now he's like the dad age that I thought he'd be. Like he looks really like a nice guy, that he wouldn't be the kind of predatory person. It's sort of unexpected. um Also, I love Adam Brody and I think he's cute, but yeah, I thought he'd be the perfect sort of like unassuming guy that you wouldn't expect to be a terrible person and then is a terrible person. And then the last boy to cast would be the guy who's like working class guy. He works, I don't know if he like, I think he works at the docks. I think he like handles like fish and cargo and stuff. So very like fit and muscly. I had a hard time casting this one because I didn't want it to be another curly haired white boy with like curly brown hair. Which, looking at different castings for like male leads, I think that's like my type of guy, and I need to like catch myself. But I thought the perfect guy who had that like, who I think would have good chemistry with Sierra Ramirez, would be Avan Jogia from Victorious.
I casted him too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's half Indian. Is that correct? And so I thought that'd be an interesting role for him to play. I think he has the perfect body type, and also judging by his character's relationship with Jade on Victorious, which is I think the only thing he's done.
He's done
no idea.
a few things. I don't know.
Yeah, people still love him. I think he models a little.
He's
I think they'd have good chemistry.
He's getting a lot of roles today.
Right? Like, you're welcome. Like, his agent should be in touch. And then last but not least, the perfect like sort of tough love mom, head of the pizza place character I was going to cast as Melissa McCarthy, because I feel like she has that energy of like very sweet and like very good at cooking. But also I think she has the capacity to like be very sassy and be very like, get your shit together. Like, I know you could do better. But anyways, that was my thought on Mystic Pizza. Because when I originally casted this just in my head, like 4 months ago, I actually casted completely different people. And it was a bit more Euphoria inspired. I wanted Alexa Demi as JoJo, as the runaway bride, because she has that like hot and cold relationship on Euphoria. And then I wanted Zendaya as Julia Roberts, because she has that beautiful hair, and she has that sort of like dynamic, like I feel like she plays a lot of like angsty female characters, and so I feel like she could play that role well. And then for the role of Kat, a more demure, studious type, I was going to cast that one girl who was in that movie with like Rose Byrne, where it's like this couple adopts like an adult child, like 16, with her younger brother. I think I could be wrong. And it's like a whole movie thing about family and how like a lot of kids are stuck in the foster care system because no one's going to adopt like a teenager because it's like hard. And I tried Googling, I couldn't find the name of the movie. So I was like, scrap the whole thing. Because also I didn't want to be too relying on Euphoria. Yeah. And then also Alexa Demi is 30. So I was like, oh, I do want to keep it like a little bit more age appropriate. Yeah. And then Zendaya is also, I think she's like 23, 24. So I was like, I don't know. But Odessa and Odea are both still quite young. I think they're like 19-ish. And then Sarah Ramirez is 26. But I tried to keep their male part opposite part faithful to like the actresses' ages and stuff like that. So it wasn't like a creepy Hilary Duff Cinderella story situation where she's 15 and her male lead is 22 and they're playing the same age, you know? Love it. But yeah, that's Mystic Pizza. And I sort of was going to keep it in movie format and just make it more of like, the Mystic Pizza does have like dramatic tones, but it's mostly like a romantic comedy. But I wanted to keep it, instead of like a romantic comedy thing, more of just like an edgy comedy. Like I feel like all service employees know the kind of edgy quick quibs that you make when you're like on shift, that I feel like it would like kind of take that sarcastic tone but still keep it funny, and you know, have romantic storylines but not get too dark, but like sarcastic, snarky, I think would be the vibe. Yeah.
Wow. I wish I saw the movie. So
Everyone should see Mystic Pizza. It's amazing. I love it. But
Yeah.
also, like, I could very well be alone. It could be very well just my preference in movies.
Yeah,
But I thought it was really cute. And also, like, I don't know. It was interesting to see like a movie be about Portuguese culture because I don't know a lot of Portuguese people, you know?
Mhm.
I got to go meet them in Connecticut one day. But yeah, so I kept it sort of like the girls were all non-white, working class service girls. And then the guys were like, the two rich guys are white. And then the working class guy is like really hot and also ethnic.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like, I don't know, it's so hard casting people of color.
It is.
And then I like realized that like it's not me, it's them. It's like I just like can't. Like I literally go on all the things. It's like people of color, like under 20 or something, and it's just like there are just so few of them. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm understanding. Like,
Yeah. And I
I
also
mean,
wanted, sorry, yeah, continue.
well, because I think um, like it can be like, oh, you know, there are these people of color actors and stuff, and I can list them off. But then it's like it's like the same people and everything,
Yeah.
you
And I
know?
also didn't want to like feed into any stereotypes of casting
Yeah.
either. Like, I didn't want to have an Asian character be very like shy and demure and studious, you know? And I didn't want like I like the idea of like an Indian man being like working class, working with his hands, because I feel like casting wise, a lot of them are like in the tech world
Yeah.
or like behind a desk of some sort. And I'm like, no, they can like, you know, they have more range than that. But yeah,
Yeah, super
life,
nice.
man. But also, I'm always gonna cast like straight. I'm always gonna cast like rich white guys, like as rich white guys. They don't get to have a more interesting storyline, you know.
No, I liked it.
Woo.
I
Yeah,
like Melissa McCarthy if you're going for full comedy.
yeah. Well, because also I think she's very funny, but I feel like she's played very snarky characters in the past, but I feel like she's still, at least in that sort of like cooking role, people would be like, oh, Gilmore Girls, she's going to be like very sweet and kooky, when she'll be like a bit more like stern and snarky and stuff like that. I think that'd be interesting for her to have like a bit of a mean streak, like kicking out customers and stuff like that.
Nice.
Anyways, what is your next idea?
Hey Silvana, have you ever seen the movie Princess Diaries?
I have. I
Great.
almost did that.
You almost did?
I almost did. And then I was like, nah. They're going to make a sequel soon, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, mine is if you haven't seen Princess Diaries, it's about this teen girl, Mia Thermopolis, who finds out that she's a princess and she has to like become the heir to the throne in the land of Genovia. But she's super like awkward and she's bad at public speaking and stuff. Um, so my version of Princess Diaries is it's like a remake. It's a remake series on Netflix. It's in like it's the Crown version. It's gonna be like a biopic version of Princess Diaries.
Wait, so like totally dramatic and not like
Yeah.
quirky?
Yeah.
Can you see the bead of sweat forming on my
Yeah.
forehead?
Perfect.
I have no AC. Anyways, I'm not just like a sweaty girl, you know?
Um, so season 1, we have like we meet Clarice, who's played by Amanda Siegfried. So this is like young Clarice Rinaldi, and she comes from this big like noble family in Genovia, and she like never follow rules. She's always just like wanting to go on adventures, um, much to like the terror of her whole like family security team, including the security guard in training, Joe, who's played by how do you pronounce his name? Avon.
Oh,
How do you?
Avon Jogia?
Yeah, from
That's how
Victoria's.
I pronounced it. I
No,
could
that
be
was good.
totally wrong, and I apologize for I apologize for anyone's name that I've gotten wrong.
Yeah.
I forgot to hold my mic again. I'm sorry.
But so they kind of fall in love, and then it's discovered that uh King Rupert wants to marry her. And so then they have like she has to choose between like her duty to Genovia or her love for Joe. And so then she has to decide that she like will go and like do it for
Oh my
Genovia.
God, Joe. I love Joe.
Um, and
Also, just to
so
make a very brief, very distant tie-in, Princess Diaries and Julia Roberts' big hit Pretty Woman uh, were both produced by the same movie makers,
oh,
and I think written by the same people, but I'm not totally sure. And so there's a ton of cast overlap with the movie Princess Diaries and the movie Pretty Woman, and like scenes and like lines, multiple ones that are just like copied from Pretty Woman onto Princess Diaries, like multiple like physical comedy stuff, lines. Joe is in both movies. Um, that
we
like
have
queen
diplomatic
assistant girl.
immunity in
Yeah.
both that
So
and in Puerto Rico.
yeah, just a little fun fact
Interesting.
for everyone to enjoy and to tie it in with the previous idea. But yeah,
Yeah.
continue.
But yeah, so yeah, this is based on the movie and not the books because I didn't like the books and I read like 12 of them and then I was like, I didn't like these.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so this is like the prequel, and then season two. Um, oh wait, okay, wait. So we also have Rupert, who's played by Zachary Levi in like season one because he's like a little older,
Ooh.
and so then
Yeah, I guess Zachary is old now. TBT to
yeah,
Chuck. Anyways.
and then season two, Clarice is now replaced by Charlize Theron because somehow that made sense to me.
I love her. Oh my God, that's the perfect casting for like a Julia Roberts type or Julie Andrews type, but like as young. Oh, that's so cool.
And then I wanted Rupert to get like suddenly pretty old. No shame, but like I wanted to do Keanu Reeves.
Oh my, wait, no, that's perfect casting. Because
Um,
he's like old, but
mhm,
also nice.
yeah. And then I couldn't really think of another like actor that's like half Indian. So I just went with like Danny Pudi from Community
Oh, I love Danny Pudi.
as Joe. I don't know if it works, but so
That'd be very
in
interesting to see if you could pull off a role like that.
right? And so then in season two, Clarice and Rupert have two kids, Pierre and Philippe. Pierre abdicates to join the church when he's of age, and he's played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, because somehow that made sense to me that he would leave to join a church. I don't know. I
Oh
don't
my
know
God.
why, but that made a lot of sense to me.
Dude. Also, he's like a very controversial guy, like
Hmm.
in real life. So I feel like that suits him.
Right?
Just the
And
controversy
then,
of it all.
um, and is like when he's 18, Philippe is sent to America for education. He's played by Jack Quaid. That just made sense
Wait,
to me,
that's so good because the picture in the movie of the guy, Philippe, kind of looked like Dennis Quaid.
right? Um,
That's perfect.
and so then he goes to college in America and he falls in love with Helen Thermopolis, who's played by Anya Taylor-Joy in
Oh my
season
God.
two.
Yes.
And
I love
and
her.
they have a child and he decides he wants to give up everything. But then his father suddenly dies and he has to like
Oh
go
my
back.
God. Also, it would be such like a timely show to put on given like what Prince Harry has gone through. Oh
Right?
my God. Yes.
And so he decides to leave to be king, and they decide to never tell Mia. And then season three, we're finally at like the time period of Princess Diaries, the movie. And so we
OMG.
open with like Philippe's funeral. Clarice is now Meryl Streep.
Nice.
Um, and um, and she leaves to go try to find Mia to tell her that she's a princess. And Mia is played by Saoirse Ronan because it's dramatic.
Oh
And I
my
couldn't think
God.
of anyone
Yeah.
else. Um,
I didn't hear you sorry. I didn't hear you all that well the first time before I like replayed it in my head and I was like, oh, Saoirse Ronan. I thought you said Sasha Cohen. And I was like,
yeah,
I disagree.
it's a little bit of an oddball pick, but um,
Mm-hmm. You know, 40-year-old
and
man playing teenage girl.
yeah. Um, and then Helen Thermopolis in that season is played by Kate Blanchett, and
Ooh.
Rupert's dead. Pierre's dead.
Bethania's
Everyone's
dead.
dead. And so then the other
Everyone's dead.
people, um, Joe is now Ben Kingsley. Uh, Lily Moskowitz, I decided was Zendaya because I feel like Lily Moskowitz is often like a problematic character, and I feel like
Oh
Zendaya
yeah.
would fix it.
Would fix
um,
it, yeah.
and then Michael Moskowitz is Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, cute. He's kind
Um,
of old to play teen, no?
yeah,
Or
I don't know. I don't know. I
yeah.
just went with
He's
it.
29.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
well, he's been
I
held
looked at
back.
him too because I was like looking for non-white male actors that are like young, but he's too old now. He used to be young. In our heads, he can be young.
Thank you. And then Lana Thomas is Haley Steinfeld.
Oh my God.
Um,
Yes. I feel like Haley Steinfeld is like beautiful in the same way Mandy Moore was beautiful, like
right?
as a teenager.
Right.
Like that's so good. Also, like
And she
I know
can
I phrased that
sing,
weird, but Mandy Moore is like still beautiful,
right?
but she
But
was
she,
a different kind of beautiful
but
in
you know
that
how
movie.
Lana sings
Yeah,
in,
Haley sings too.
yeah,
It's so
perfect.
good. Oh my
And
God.
then Josh Bryant, I made him Josh Hutcherson because I don't know where that guy's
Ew.
been. So let's give him
Ew.
another part. Um,
No, he's probably old by now too. I think
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm coming from no place of anywhere, I have no right to say any of this, but I don't like him. I don't
Ooh,
think he's cute enough to be in Hollywood,
ooh.
and I don't think he's a good enough actor to be acting. Just going off of Hunger Games.
Interesting.
And also Bridge to Terabithia. I hated that movie.
Oh
It's
God.
terrible.
And then
Sorry,
season
I'm so
4.
sorry. I know shots were fired.
And then
And I'm
season
like, I'm
4.
not here to like call anybody ugly because I mean, I am like a drenched, scared cat right now, just like covered in sweat and like
Why'd you pick cat?
melting. I don't know.
Um,
Maybe I'm also gonna get heat for like thinking cats are uglier than dogs. Anyways,
um,
I look bad and also like it's okay to look bad. So, but also I don't want to see Josh Hutcherson on my TV. Like if Hollywood's gonna have really high beauty standards, like then why not uphold them for men too? Just my
true,
2 cents.
but then season 4 is like the events of Princess Diaries 2, and that one and Nicholas will be John Boyega, which for some reason
Who,
felt like it would work.
what character is that? Sorry.
For Nicholas, the one who's played by
Chris
Chris
Pine?
Pine.
Oh, I forgot his name was Nicholas. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
who the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
good character. Okay. Wait, who's playing? It's Anya Taylor-Joy? No.
that's
Yeah?
that's Helen Thermopolis. So Mia Thermopolis is Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan. That's what I was.
It'll work.
I
Like,
love
she
Anya
feels
Taylor-Joy. She'd be
regal,
such a good like young mom. Anyways,
right?
Saoirse Ronan and John Boyega. I think that would work.
Yeah. So it would just like all be like breakup. Like we would have like prequels and stuff, and different
That'd be
casts and
cool. Because I
everything.
feel like the parents had a very interesting past that
Right?
would be cool to like delve into.
Exactly. So
Interesting.
that's my take.
Nice. We love the Crown type genre of
Yeah.
Netflix show. We love to see it. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Do you have anything written for that or
No, I did not try.
yeah.
But we're going for the Golden Globes. We're going for
Of
Emmy.
course.
We're going for it all. Yeah.
We're going for it all. We're gonna EGOT with it. Who
Yeah.
knows how you're gonna win a Grammy and a Tony, but you're gonna do it.
With Haley Steinfeld.
Exactly. Oh my God. Perfect. Anyways, problem solved.
What's your next one?
So my next one, sort of, stealing the love of Maria's life a little here. And I was thinking of doing a sort of a high school origin story live action Scooby-Doo because I loved the sort of like prequel that never was in the Scooby-Doo world of how you talked about how they almost were like supposed to be a band traveling or whatever. And I never really knew what age Scooby-Doo characters were supposed to be. Like, are they supposed to be high schoolers or like college age kids?
High schoolers.
High schoolers. I always thought they were like adults. And I thought like Fred and Daphne were married, but I like the idea of like a young high school origin story. So like maybe starting as freshmen and following them throughout high school. And then like they sort of go off on a proper mystery. Because were they earning money with these mystery solving adventures?
No, they were
How,
just
where was their source of
working.
income? But they were like traveling with no parents,
Well,
unsupervised.
it was kind of like a Kim Possible situation where they would kind of get like
Mm,
favors, and so if they needed like a ride anywhere, they would be like, "Thanks for taking me on your jet. Will you solve the mystery of
but they
the?"
drove a van. How old
Well,
is
sometimes
Fred?
Fred's in his 30s. I don't know, but well, like
Oh my
there's one
God.
series with new Scooby-Doo that they like fly all over.
Oh wow. I did not. Well, because also I think in the live action film, they were proper adults.
Hmm.
And so I think I just sort of like carried that into the cartoon and didn't really question it. Um, they do call them kids, but I do want to take them back like a little bit younger and see
Okay.
like I want to explore how they meet, like how the gang gets together, sort of like origin story. And I want to do it in sort of like a freaks and geeks style type show. Obviously be on streaming like Netflix or somewhere just because you can get anything good on air anywhere. So not that it's like a Netflix show style, but I'm definitely going for that freaks and geeks like maybe 13 episode per season kind of run.
Hmm.
Um, and so I wanted to like age them down a bit and sort of like how they became the archetype characters that they were. And I thought that would be really cool. And so for Shaggy, and I also like the idea of like casting really young people like Stranger Things age. For Shaggy, with the perfect shaggy hair, we have Finn Wolfhard, who
He's
you
getting a
also
lot of
cast.
roles today.
He's also, because I feel like he has that perfect stoner energy, but not quite like annoying stoner energy. He's like
Mhm.
kind of a delinquent, but like more of the kind of way where he would like doodle comics in his sketchbook or like
Yeah,
his math notebook or whatever instead of paying attention.
yeah.
But like kind-hearted and also like still like a very young kid. Like he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's also like not into hard drug use, but he's like
Mhm.
one of he's like a would-be stoner.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And also he was in a music video where he has a dog, and I know he has that emotional range to like
Wait,
have his
what is
best
he
friend be
supposed to
his
bring the
dog.
dog?
Yeah. The
It's
music
a
video
it's
is
a
called I think it's called Guilt by the band Pup, who I love. I should have seen them on tour before COVID and I couldn't, didn't
mm,
work out, and I'm devastated. I think Beach Bunny opened for them and I love Beach Bunny, and I cry myself to sleep every night for all
no.
the concerts I never went to.
But is your show
Anyways,
BYOD? Bring your own dog?
okay, so I didn't cast the dog
Oh
because
no.
I don't know how. But like some Great Dane, I think it would be a real dog. I don't like I do like it being like a freaks and geeks kind of
Mhm.
show where it's like mostly lighthearted, like teen high school humor, where it's like these kids really don't know what they're doing and they're
Mhm.
all like geeks. But also not shying away from like topics like classism and like I do want it still set in the 70s. So it's like, what does that mean in terms of like laws and political stuff going on, and like what that means for like a young high school kid just trying to like make it through the day without getting bullied, you know? And then we have Velma. And so this is where I know Finn Wolfhard, I think he might be 19 or something. He looks still quite young though. But for Velma, I like the idea of her being a little queer coded.
Yeah.
Um, and so I liked the idea of casting, I think her name is Barbie Ferreira, but it could
Mm.
be that could be the name of another musical artist. But it's I know her name is Barbie, I'm pretty sure, and she's Brazilian. So like I almost got there Portuguese wise. But I'm gonna Google it real quick while I talk. But she plays a character in Euphoria who's sort of like a very like nerdy girl who sort of like comes to her own into her own sexually during the course
Mhm.
of that show. And so I liked the idea of her being sort of like somewhat reserved, but also physically, you know, she doesn't fit in with the other kids at school. You know, she's Brazilian, she's not white. America was really white in the 70s. And then also, you know, body positive wise, 70s was very like, you know, beach body thin and stuff like that, and like
Mhm.
tan and blonde hair. And I liked her being sort of like coded as an outsider, and also very studious. But in the show, she also has like a very sleek black bob. And so I feel like she
Oh,
could rock the Velma bob really
yeah.
well with like edgy bangs. Um, I think her name is Barbie Ferreira. Let's see. Yeah, it is Barbie Ferreira. Woo! She's 24, so she is a little old, but she plays convincingly in Euphoria. So we'll just like think of her back in her OG season 1 Euphoria days, and she was probably like 20, you know? But yeah, so I liked her for Velma. And then Daphne, I sort of like,
Who's my fave?
I couldn't decide between two. So my first pick, just going off of like the young gingers who I love and can seem very like, very, I don't know what the word is, but like the type of person that everyone gets along with and very amiable. But also, you know, she's not like a pushover or a wafy type girl. But I liked the idea of Phoebe Denevor,
From
the
Bridgerton?
the British Bridgerton girl.
Okay.
She is 26 though, so she's kind of like pushing it old wise, but she has that like classic. I feel like she was like sort of like a reddish blonde in Bridgerton. I feel like she could pull off like a very Daphne red ginger hair very well. And she's like sweet looking, but also like, you know, can pull off the tougher scenes. Um, or like sort of like the edgier stuff. Like it's not like she's scandalized by this group of misfits. But my other idea, who kind of had that same, who was a bit younger and then had that same like sweet but like tough energy, was Lana Condor, who seems like the girl that everybody would love in high school, but wasn't like a bitchy popular girl, you know, like that kind of vibe. Like she seemed like very sweet and easygoing. But I love red hair, and I love also like not white actresses and actors pulling off like bright colors in their hair or non brunette hair. But I don't know how Lana would pull off like a Daphne orangey ginger, because I could see her really looking cool with like bright red hair, but I don't know about like a soft ginger. So maybe I would have to code it as like a brighter character if it was Lana, but I don't know. Do you have a preference of like between the two as I've described them so far? Or are you kind of like, could go either way?
I don't know.
Because also I feel like Phoebe could pull off like a very like idyllic 70s beauty type vibe.
Yeah.
But she is aged up a little bit. But she's petite. She can pull off a high schooler.
Yeah. I think, because I think she has some kind of fire. I think Daphne in my mind has fire.
She does have fire, you know. But yeah. So, but yeah, okay. So for Fred, I also teetered between two actors. I liked the idea of him being like a golden boy and not some golden haired boy. And so I was leaning, fuck that guy. Anyways, I'm so sorry, Josh. Anyways,
this is such a
we only know Joshua Bassett. Also, I have a t-shirt dedicated to Josh's that breakup bands that says Josh, you're out of the band, because so many Joshes in bands that I've listened to, they exist, they've done me wrong. But anyways, so I was trying to decide between I believe it's pronounced Kadar Williams Sterling, the jock from Sex Education, that show on Netflix, the British show, because I feel like he had that sort of very attractive but also like confident stance where he was like, oh, I do know what I'm doing, I will set the traps, I will be driving the van, but like, you know, very sweet, like kind of like easygoing guy that he would be like well liked in school. Or Hayden Seto. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you were gonna say Hayden Panettiere.
Hayden Panettiere. Oh my god. I believe he's Japanese, and so I'm not totally sure how to pronounce his last name, but it's Zeto. No, he's from Hong Kong. And he's Canadian. We love a Canadian guy. Well, like, I feel like if you're gonna be like a very popular, like easygoing guy, you've got to be Canadian, you know, like Ted Mullins vibes. But so I saw him in the movie Edge of 17. He's very old, but he played a teenager like 2-3 years ago in Edge of 17.
It'll be okay.
He's 35.
Oh no. It's a Jason Earl situation.
But he looks so young and good for his age. And because he has like he's like an athletic physique, but also very like kind looking face. And I feel like that goes a long way for a guy like Fred, who's like the guy who is in charge, but like is well liked enough that people let him take charge, you know? So I don't know. I do really like those two guys, but I don't know. I feel like I could just like put Phoebe in a chemistry test with either of them, and whoever she liked or like vibed with the most, I would use. So that'd be interesting. But Scooby-Doo, I just cast a Scooby. Dogs, you know. It'd be funny if we cast a Scooby as like a Chihuahua and they just kept him in a backpack, like Scrappy. Like Scrappy Doo kept him in a backpack and just like brought him to school. But yeah, because I like the idea of it not being that like weird life action Scooby-Doo movie like CGI thing where they mixed, because they had monsters and stuff, they like mixed the CGI with the real people. And I don't really like that. Like I want like a very gritty Freaks and Geeks, like 70s, like very real, like kind of vibe. Yeah. So I feel like the dog just has to be a dog, and he's just like such a well-trained dog with expressive eyes that like, you know, I feel like we all have conversations with our pets without having them be a cartoon talking to us, you know, or eating.
Or you could have like one episode from like the dog's perspective, and it's just like a fun one episode.
Yeah. But so in terms of like what the actual show would be like in terms of scripts and storylines, is that I feel like I couldn't really decide or imagine a good inciting incident that would make them all sort of find each other, because they all do belong to like slightly different like what are they called? Cliques. Oh my god, I couldn't hear. I was like thinking of that High School Musical song "Stick to the Status Quo," and I'm like, what are they called? But yeah, so I couldn't really decide, because I liked the idea of them like trying to start a rock band to like as a reason to band together and to hang out, but all of them being so talentless and terrible at their instruments, and like none of them can sing. And I like love the idea of them trying really hard to be a good rock band and like not being able to do it, and instead sort of stumble into being like really good at problem solving and like solving mysteries, or like, you know, uncovering stuff about the school administration or like shady business. Like I feel like the 70s was all about like conspiracies and like the government is lying to you. So like taking that energy and putting it onto like their high school, I think would be really cool, and sort of like demonizing the school administrators or their teachers and stuff like that. We love hating adults. Very Zillennial energy, sort of. And we're kind of adults now, but Gen Z energy, we dig. Anyways. And so I like the idea of them like trying to do that and then falling into being good at something else. But I don't know how these characters would like want to be in a rock band together, or like who would be the one being like, I want to start the band and I'm recruiting these other people because I think I see potential in them. Right? Oh my god. TBT. We should do a Lemonade Mouth episode. I love Lemonade Mouth. But
maybe there's money.
Maybe. I don't know. But that was like the one sort of like puzzle piece catalyst that I couldn't really figure out what would be like an authentic way to do that. And also like a realistic way where it's like, I feel like Freaks and Geeks was very like realistic in terms of their storylines, and like they weren't sort of cartoon archetypes of themselves. And so I like in Freaks and Geeks, they're very like real characters and weren't sort of like stereotypes. And so I wanted to like bring that into these very archetypal characters and like see how these like relatively like normalish kids became these roles. Yes Maria, I have
an idea.
Oh my god, yes. Hello.
What if like, because they're all from different cliques, but what if like the one thing they have in common is they're all like next door neighbors?
Ooh, that'd be cool. I don't know, we'd have to like get them a van somehow too, you know. But yeah,
making it.
And so the other thing that I was sort of toying with is that because I want it to be very Freaks and Geeks, very like realistic, like this could be your friend group, or like you could see these types of guys at your school, like they're not like very like away from the cartoony parts of Scooby-Doo, that I was like, well, how am I going to incorporate like the mysteries and conspiracies and the like ghosts and the masks taking off? Like, how would I incorporate that with like no special effects?
It's
Um,
COVID.
and so I think I'm going to lean, instead of like ghosties and like hauntedness, even though I do want hauntedness to like play a role, I wanted to lean a bit more into like historical conspiracies, government conspiracies, and like alien stuff. So in a way where it's like in the beginning, X-Files sort of toyed with like supernatural and toyed with alien stuff, but didn't require a ton of special effects because it was a TV show. I kind of want to lean into that style of like the X-Files style of like the occult and conspiracies and stuff, where it's like I feel like everybody acknowledges that the government lies to us and believes that, but I feel like it's like a step too far for the majority of people to believe like in ghosts and hauntings and like that sort of things. But I do like the idea of like zodiac signs are coming back into fashion, and like they were huge in the 70s too. And like the idea of like the occult version of like haunted stuff, not so much like, ooh, a ghost in a mask. It's more like no special effects, but like creepy things could happen, you know? And because of that, I wanted to set the high school in Westfield, New Jersey, because I think it's close enough to Woodstock in upstate New York that they could like drive there and like be hippies together at Woodstock. But they're still like suburban New Jersey kids kicking it. But also, because also I have family from Westfield who like lived there at one point. So I love the personal tie, but the more research I do on Westfield, New Jersey, it's like one of the most haunted places. It's got a ton of haunted house, a lot of like murder houses, creepy things, creepy letters, in a way where it's like nobody's seeing a ghost, but people definitely acknowledge that these houses are haunted in real life. So I feel like that sort of creepy haunted history of the town could also inform the show as well. And I think that'd be really cool.
Interesting. I like that.
So that's my little, it's my little TV show.
It feels like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. We live in like the most hauntedest town. That's what it's called.
Actually, the most haunted place in America is actually, I think it's like Lincoln, Kansas, or Lawrence, Kansas.
Well, that's where Supernatural. That's where
that's why they said it there, yeah. And then they never visit Lawrence, Kansas. So I'm like,
they
why?
Because that's where I think their
once.
mom died, and so they go.
Yeah. But
interesting.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
Are you ready to pitch us your last and final idea?
Sure. I'm gonna read you the description I wrote, and then you guess which show it's about.
Okay.
So this is a CW version. Eloise Fitzpatrick is a normal American teenager. She goes to school, gets the mail, semi hates her dad. This all changes when she stumbles into the pensively hot Drew Nicholson at a neighboring library. He greets her as Blue, somehow remembering how they used to play together as kids, but she doesn't remember him at all. After finding a mysterious box in her attic, she has to go on a series of puzzles and adventures to get to the truth. But the biggest puzzle of them all is her dad really her dad? Or was there someone else? And if so, what happened to him? And is the whole town in on it?
Oh my God. I love a town conspiracy. OMG.
You know what show it's about?
Eloise Fitzpatrick?
Yeah.
Is that a new name or the same name?
It's a new name.
I don't know. Because I thought my first thing was like, oh, Eloise at the Plaza, but that's not it.
This is the CW version of Blue's Clues.
Oh my God. Wait, what the fuck? How does that relate to the story?
Okay, so Blue's Clues, if you don't remember, it was like this guy and like a dog, and they would like solve puzzles or something, and they would sit in the thinking chair and they would like go into paintings or something.
Wow.
But
TBT.
so Blue is the daughter, but her name is Eloise Fitzpatrick. Blue is like her nickname. And it's played by Kennedy McMahon, who's a classic CW actress from Nancy Drew.
Oh.
And then Joe is her father, who she thinks is her father, who's Luke Perry, who's a dad on Riverdale. And then,
Wait, didn't he
um
die?
no, I don't know.
Or
Well,
maybe
no,
the other dad died
yeah,
on from Riverdale.
Steve.
Somebody from
Oh,
Riverdale
someone he
died.
did. Did he die? Oh
Yeah,
no.
one of the dads on Riverdale
Did
died.
he die? Okay,
I
we'll
think Luke
recast
Perry
him.
died.
No, okay, so then
I'm gonna Google it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
we'll do I don't know, we'll come back to it. And then um Mailbox, who is Uncle's best friend and mailman is Jensen Ackles from Supernatural.
Solid.
Um
Oh, he actually just pitched a TV show with his wife that's
oh
like
yeah.
getting
Supernatural
greenlit to
sequel.
like make a pilot or whatever. And they
Yeah,
announced it on Deadline. And Jared Padalecki lost his shit
really?
because he has anger issues and kind of an alcoholic. But
Oh wow.
all the fans of Supernatural were like, calm the fuck down. Don't handle your beef on Twitter. Like, call him like a normal person.
Yeah. Well, he
Like, he's
always
your
like
friend. Just
yells
call him
about
up.
like flights and stuff.
Yeah, Luke
Um
Perry died March 4th,
no.
2019 in Burbank,
Okay.
California.
We'll recast him
RIP.
at
I'm so
some point.
sorry.
Side table drawer is their lawyer, and that's Ian
Oh my God.
Somerhouse.
How are these objects relating to these plot
And he was on
characters?
Vampire Diaries, and then Mr. Salt is
Wow.
their neighbor, and that's Michael
Ooh,
Pena. Mrs.
salty.
Pepper is Salma Hayek, who's also their neighbor.
Oh my God, that is the most iconic casting ever, though.
And then
Salma Hayek as Pepper.
Paprika is their name, who's Melanie Diaz, who's on Charmed, and
Oh,
Cinnamon, who's her younger brother, who's Rico Rodriguez from Modern Family,
oh wow.
and Magenta is the love interest, also known as Drew Nicholson, and he'll be played by Cole Sprouse, of course, from
Oh my God,
Riverdale.
of course, of
And
course.
then
I almost casted Cole Sprouse as something, and then I decided no.
yeah, um, would you like to hear some of the script?
Ooh, sure.
So the opening, Eloise voiceover. So remember, this is CW, okay?
Okay, I'm like shifting in my seat and I'm just like, my bones are so old. So pay no attention to what's going on the screen. Oh my God.
Eloise voiceover. It's just a normal day for Eloise Fitzpatrick. Joe, have a great day at school today, honey. Eloise, if you cared about me having a great day, you might have thought about that before you cheated on mom.
Oh
Joe,
my God. Shots fired at the breakfast table.
it's CW. Joe, I get
Wow.
that you're mad, but hey, I got you a sandwich for lunch from restaurant. Eloise voiceover. Everything in our town is simply named. My school is called school. Our community pool is called pool. And the only eating establishment in town is called restaurant, which is unfortunate that we only have one because I refuse to go there since she owns the place.
Oh
Eloise,
my
if
God.
her slutty fingers touched it, I don't want it. Eloise drops the sandwich into the trash can and slams the door shut. Eloise
Wow.
voiceover. Yep, just a normal day for Eloise Fitzpatrick. Joe, they used gloves, Elle. That's the opening
Wow.
scene. And then
Oh,
later she's doing like a project for school on like the town's history. So she goes to the library. That's just called library. Librarian, you're looking for something, Miss Fitzpatrick? Eloise, yeah, hi Nancy. I'm doing a report for school on deceased members of town. Do you have anything on Steve Burns? The librarian types in the computer.
wow.
Librarian, we don't have any record of Steve Burns here, but I'm seeing Hidden Meadows might have something. Eloise, Hidden Meadows? Librarian, yeah, it's a few towns over. They seem to have a few notes of his at the Hidden Meadows Regional Library. I would
Oh
get
my
it for you, but
God.
Miss Winters, who runs our interlibrary loan, is out sick, and she's the only one with access. Eloise, I can go get it. Librarian, you sure? It's a bit of a drive. Eloise, yeah, I'm trying to spend less time at home. Librarian, you want to talk about it? Eloise, no, why does everyone keep saying that to me? I gotta go. Eloise storms out of the library.
Wow.
And so now she goes to the Hidden Meadows Regional Library. Eloise, hi, I'm trying to pick up some documents on Steve Burns. Nancy at Town Library should put in some requests for me. Librarian, name please? Eloise Fitzpatrick. A boy, Drew Nicholson, looks up from his library table. Drew, Blue? Eloise slightly looks at him and looks back to the librarian. Eloise, yeah, if I could just get those documents or scans, that would be great.
Wow.
Librarian, sure thing. Let me get those printed out for you. Drew approaches Eloise. Drew, Blue? Eloise still ignores him. Drew, trying again. Blue.
Wait,
Eloise.
Drew in blue?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Eloise turns to him. Eloise, why do you keep calling me that? Is this some kind of hidden meadows hazing? Drew, because your nickname is Blue. You don't remember me? Eloise, no, I think you're confusing me with someone else. Drew, I was your best friend when we were kids. Eloise, no, my best friend has always been my next door neighbor, Paprika. Drew, you don't remember me, Blue? Eloise, okay, why Blue of all things? Drew, your dad was ex-Navy and you decided you wanted to feel closer to him, so you went by Blue. I wanted to copy you, so I went by Magenta.
Oh
Eloise,
my
my dad
God.
is an accountant. He's not ex-Navy. His
An
biggest
accountant.
his biggest occupational hazard is paper cuts. The librarian comes back. Librarian, I'm sorry. Actually can't continue with your request at this moment. Eloise, great. Great. Drew, Blue. Eloise, stop calling me that. Eloise storms out. Later at home, Eloise starts looking for an old town directory. Maybe she could look up if Steve Burns has family. She decides to check the attic. She moves over a bunch of chests and furniture to reveal a red armchair with black trim. Eloise, I've never seen this before. Even though it's dusty, she decides to sit down. She feels something under the seat cushion.
I would
She
never
gets
sit down on a dusty chair. I'm so
she
sorry.
she gets up, picks up the cushion, and finds a box. It's labeled, and she reads it. Eloise, Blue's Clues. She opens it to find a bunch of letters.
Oh my God, this whole thing just cracked wide open. Wait, I'm so invested now.
Eloise reading the note at the top. My dearest Blue, if you're reading this, I'm already dead. I stuck my nose somewhere I shouldn't have, and I'm truly sorry. But I've always loved a good
Ex-Navy.
mystery. With every mail time, I knew I was growing closer to the end. I couldn't figure out the clues in time, but maybe you can. I hope Blue wants to play a game. Your
Oh
dearest
my
dad.
God. Oh, her dad's dead?
Yeah, but she doesn't know. Eloise, what the hell? Joe, L. Eloise holds the box behind her. Eloise, Dad, hi. Joe, I saw the attic ladder down. What are you doing? Eloise, oh, just trying to find some stuff for a school project. What's this chair doing here? Joe, oh, I've been thinking about getting rid of that. Eloise, but how long have we had it? I've never seen it before. Joe, it's a long story. Eloise, keeping secrets again, just like you did with Brenda? Joe, L. Eloise, just save it. Just leave. I'll put the ladder up when I'm done. Eloise goes to her room, puts the box in her bag, and calls out, Eloise, don't wait up for me. I have to meet up with some friends for a group project. Joe, Elle, can we talk? The door slams. I guess not. Eloise drives back to the library where it's closing for the night. She leans against her car door, waiting for Drew. Finally, he steps out. She calls to him. Eloise, hey. Drew is confused. Drew, hi? Eloise, what else do you remember about me? Eloise voiceover. Maybe not such a normal day after all.
Oh my God. That's so good. I kind of the world building aspect of it threw me a little bit in the beginning. So I was like, what are the parallels here? Like, why are these things the way that they are? But the whole thing came together. Oh my God. That's amazing. Oh my God. I just love the name Eloise, and it's a very like fitting, just to me, like the blue going with Eloise just feels very right to me.
Thank you.
Drew and Magenta could take it or leave it. But I also love how most people thought Blue was a boy and Magenta was a girl, and then it's like flipped in the series, even though they were both girls in the TV show. Blue was a girl, no one knew. Because dogs, gender is irrelevant when you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
It's a construct. But 10 out of 10. Oh my God. Came out of left field might be my favorite. Oh my God. They're all good. I love all your ideas, man. So good. All right. So my final idea as we wrap up this very long episode, we've got so much to go to as well. So my final idea is 10 things I hate about you. We tried, I think it was on Disney. No, actually, I think it was ABC Family. They tried to do a TV show version, sort of updated with the times on ABC Family with Lindsay Shaw from Ned's Declassified and Nicholas Braun from Today's Succession. And also that bitch from Camp Rock. She played like a very sweet character on the show. And then this like weird no-name Italian guy as the Heath Ledger character. the writing was bad. Some of the acting was okay. It really all just fell apart. I think it was on for maybe 2 seasons, and honestly, it was 2 seasons too long. Wasn't good. Did not do the original justice. The original was so iconic in its soundtrack and also the actors. They were really like, diamonds in the rough in terms of like they found these sort of no-name actors and their careers blossomed afterwards. I don't know if it's because of that movie or not. Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, all of these guys, everyone's great. So I wanted to try. I feel like I liked the idea of like making it into like a high school TV show, and I think and like with Shakespeare, I feel like you can like take things in a lot of different directions, and I feel like it could have worked out if it was better written and better casted. So I wanted to keep with the Italian theme and sort of lean into that in terms of casting because they really just like were like, oh, white people in terms of the TV show. And I wanted to, Gen Z is better than that. We're past that. We're past all white casts. Like, no more POC, only side characters, Like, anyways, none of these are POC, but like, white people need to be more interesting if they want to stay around. But so this is another one where I have a few different ideas, and I feel like I didn't land on a specific answer for a few of these characters, but I wanted to keep the premise somewhat the same, where it's like you sort of watch the relationships build a little bit longer, but they sort of like start at the same place, end at the same place. So because of that, I like the idea of maybe doing like a mini series or like shorter seasons. I feel like where the writing went sour in the TV show, one, it was an ABC Family TV show before they got like a better development staff. And two, I think it was because they started making it more procedural, where they had these episodes that didn't really relate to any sort of like overarching storyline of where we knew the movie was going. They started writing episodes in order to make it as many seasons as they could. They started writing episodes that like really no emotional ground was covered, like no progress. So I do want to make progress in every episode, and I feel like that's more conducive to miniseries. But for the characters, for the main Cat character, previously played by Julia Stiles, and also Lindsay Shaw, she's fine, but I don't know. I feel like there are definitely delicate sides to Cat, and I feel like Lindsay Shaw never really showed that. Love her on Ned's Declassified though. Great on TikTok. Anyways, I really like the idea of Rachel Sennott playing Cat. Rachel's very Italian. She looks Jewish. She passes as Jewish in her latest film, Shiva Baby, which I love. I couldn't get tickets to one of the showings in Brooklyn because I've already seen it, but I wanted to get tickets to a new showing this weekend, where they ask the two leads and the director questions at the end of the showing. And I saw the posting on Instagram. They're like, tickets to like this cool showing in Brooklyn. And I was like, oh, but like it's gonna be when my friend's visiting. Like I'll ask her if she wants to go, and then I'll like come buy the tickets afterwards. And then I was like, forgot to ask her. Then like the day passed, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy the tickets just in case. And then I went and looked, sold out.
No.
Too slow, heartbroken forever. So maybe I'll get to meet her if I cast her in this TV show.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of leaning into that Italian culture. And so for Bianca, I like the idea of Kat having like dark features, even though Julia Stiles in the movie has very, she's blonde, she's very feminine looking, very soft features. But with Rachel, she has that sort of harsher look to her. And I liked that edge. But for Bianca, someone who still looks Italian and could look like her sister, but have, a sweeter demeanor, sort of more conventional looking, because she's the character that sort of like leans into those, popular girl beauty standards and stuff like that. I had the idea of Kiernan Shipka because I feel like facially she's not such a departure from Rachel, but she pulls off blonde well with like the dark eyebrows. And she like, she doesn't have like dainty small features like, a traditional white blonde girl would. she's still a white blonde girl, but she has, you know, the more striking brows and like a stronger jaw and stuff like that. But so here's the thing. I love Kiernan. I don't know if the acting chops could could stand up to a character like Bianca. Like I haven't seen her play that kind of like charismatic, very nice, like sort of like nice, mean, popular girl character before. I feel like she's always played angsty characters. I don't know if she could pull it off. I want to see her try, you know?
Let's just give her a chance.
So I wanted to give her a chance, and I liked this idea of this pairing together. That being said, I came up with like a runner-up cast in terms of the sisters. So I really like Maud Apatow with in everything that she's been in thus far. And she's played sort of a bit shyer characters thus far. And I wanted to see, so instead of, because Maud Apatow, I'm pretty sure, is Jewish like her father. Fact check that for me if you want to, people. But
You were talking to me.
I felt like, okay, instead of Italian, maybe we'll lean into being Jewish. Because culture should be present in everyone's lives, you know. I don't want to whitewash characters that aren't wasps, you know. But I like the idea of Maud Apatow sort of taking on a harsher role. She kind of has that like long but still curly but still thin and straight, like very long and like no layers look that Julia Stiles had going on hair wise in the first film. And so she kind of has like a brunette version of that. And I wanted to explore maybe taking her hair and making it a bit more unruly. And I liked the idea of that being sort of like an aesthetic the character goes for. Because Julia Stiles did have very thin hair. So it was like definitely curly, but wasn't like unkept or like out of control. And I feel like it'd be cool to like lean into that out of controlness of that character. She does, you know, drive her car into another guy's car. Like that's pretty I'm not in control of your emotions. But so on the flip side, a Bianca character that still has like not wafy waspy features but pulls off blonde. I was thinking, I always thought her name was Natalie Dyer. I think it's Natalia. And so I've just been saying it wrong in my head my whole life, but it's Natalia Dyer. Because I've looked up pictures of her as a blonde and she looks pretty good as a blonde. And I feel like she could pull off being like a sweet high school girl, but also like, you know, mean sweet in the way that popular girls are. Like they're bitchy, but they're like cute at the same time, you know, that kind of line that they're walking. But I also was thinking maybe Natalia Dyer could also pull off being Rachel's sister as well. So could go either way if Kiernan's not up for the job. But I also liked the idea of Maud Apatow taking on this rougher character. And I do believe Maud is still pretty young. I think she's 19 or maybe 20. But I feel like everybody just froze in age to me in 2019, 2020. And we've all aged like 2 whole years and it just hasn't processed in my head, you know? Everybody's still young. But
Hey,
so,
Savannah,
huh? Yeah?
do you have a place for Josh Hutcherson?
No, fuck that guy. I hate Josh Hutcherson. Don't make me say it again. I don't want that soundbite going around. But yeah, so for the iconic overprotective gynecologist dad, if we're leaning towards Italian, I was thinking none other than our resident Grinch, Chris Messina from the Mindy Project, because he's very Italian guy. I feel like he can play the overprotective role, sort of like, you know, grouchiness very well. And he could like, because he's old now. He's not, you know, 30s leading man, Mindy Project era. He's got some grays, and I feel like he can like really lean into the dad character pretty well in this new stage of his career. And then yeah, but if we're leaning Jewish or just like nondescript white, we can do that too. I like the idea of David Harbour from Stranger Things because I feel like he has that really good dad energy and can give it a little less of a grouchy vibe and more of like, not like a goofy vibe, but more of a like dumb in a way that all middle-aged men are like dumb in a sort of like, oh, men don't know how to take care of themselves kind of way, where it's like his wife's passed and so he's very protective of his girls, but he's also a little bit helpless in the way that all men are helpless. And so I feel like although the show on ABC Family was very lighthearted, very like, I don't know, it was boring. And it was also like, it didn't go really into the depths that the movie went into. There was no crying, I don't think. I liked the idea of this TV show going into the more day-to-day lives and dynamics of the family and like inside the home. And so we sort of delve in deeper into the mom passing and how that affects the dynamic of the house, who's taking care of who, how is the dad coping, how are the daughters coping. Besides, I think we get like one scene in the movie where you kind of like see how people are coping and how they judge each other for their different methods of coping as well. I feel like that'd be interesting. And I feel like it'd be cool to establish more of a history of the sisters, like how they evolved into this dynamic from kids and like what was their dynamic when their mom was alive and stuff like that, and making the mom more of a character. And so in terms of casting the mom, I feel like just in like either flashbacks or like in photos and stuff like that, I didn't know what direction really to take the mom. But Christmas scene is very short. And so if it was Chris, I'd want like a very beautiful, stoic mom. But since David Harbour sort of like a bare, big, burly guy, I like the idea of like a very short and petite woman. So those were the vibes. I never got far into that character because she's dead. Anyways,
Right.
onto our male leads. Our I forget the Shakespeare name counterparts, but the Heath Ledger character, I wanted to cast a guy who could sing because he does have that big musical number, but also someone who can play a darker role. Like he has this really weird criminal past, and I want to delve deeper into like why kids break the law. Like usually it's a sign of like a really unsafe home. And so I want to delve deeper into that side of the character. And so someone who can take on that kind of drama and darkness. I honestly wanted to cast Harry Styles, but in terms, okay, so here's the thing. But then I was like, well, if we have curly brunette cat, can we also have curly brunette male lead counterpart? I don't know, because also, I'm sorry, just coming from like a mixed household, I just feel like the parents have to look like really different from each other. And I know that's not always the case. There's a huge not movement, but there's a huge community on Instagram of couples that kind of look like siblings. And so they ask the audience on Instagram, are these two siblings or are they a couple? Because sometimes, sorry, what was that?
Life with Derek.
Oh my God, Life with Derek. But like that's sort of like people dating someone who looks like they're a family member. Like that's also very common. And I don't think it'd be a deal breaker. But I don't think we could get Harry to do a TV show. I feel like he's more of like a film career guy because his schedule is so busy. He couldn't commit to something as consistent as a TV show, even if it was shorter. But I feel like there's a big comedic side to him that he hasn't explored yet acting wise. And so I feel like this could be a good way to like still have that darkness, but also have that comedy come to light. And also he rocks that long sort of textured Heath Ledger hair back in his like One Direction days. So I feel like he could like really take on that bad boy aesthetic really well. And if I was like, oh, well, maybe Harry wouldn't do a TV show, or maybe he's like too old to play a high schooler, who would I cast? And I was like approaching the idea of casting Cole Sprouse. And then I was like, I can't, no. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I can't take you seriously. You're not, I can't. I'm so sorry. You did Riverdale. I can't see you in anything else. But so I'm kind of leaning into Harry Styles, but I know I could probably need a backup. But moving on to the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character, I don't know the real name of any of these male characters. I just know the actor's name. He was this sort of like really sweet guy, sort of a pushover, kind of a jerk in a way that I'm like, in a way that guys are like, oh, nice guys finish last. Like, you should be in love with me because I deserve it, because I'm not like a dick or whatever. And I'm like, that's kind of a dick thing to say. Hello, yes, Maria.
Okay, I have an idea.
Mm.
Josh Hutcherson.
You. The most disrespected I've ever been in my whole life. That's not true, but that's how I feel. Oh my God. Fuck Josh Hutcherson. He's like 30 now too. Come on. He's playing the sophomore guy. but but yeah, so I wanted to like get this like sort of like soft boy aesthetic, but with like a judgy side, which I feel like all soft boys are super judgy. But in a way that it's like it complements Bianca because he sort of puts her in her place, and they sort of like keep each other in check where she's like, you're not that nice of a guy, like, don't be pretentious. And she's like, well, like, you need to check yourself. Like, don't be a narcissist. But so I feel like they do weirdly complement each other, but for that soft boy aesthetic, not a bad boy, very like, I listen to Radiohead. I don't know what soft boys listen to. I don't know. They listen to bands like The Killers, and they're like, oh, so underground. I don't think you've heard of them. But anyway, for that kind of guy, I kind of wanted to do Tom Holland just because he has such a sweet face. And I feel like it'd be interesting to like see him sort of slide into like, because he always plays really sweet characters, but they're never jerks. And so I feel like it'd be cool to see Tom Holland play like a really sweet soft boy that he is, and sort of lean into that sometimes jerky vibe, like nice guy who learns how to be not entitled just because he's a nice guy, because the character does make that arc. He is kind of old. He's like 23 now, 24. So I don't know if he could pull off being opposite Natalia Dyer or Kiernan Shipka.
1 year.
He does, yeah.
But
you're just releasing all my personal information.
But is so sad because you say that I give off Kiernan Shipka energy.
So here's the thing: is that
my celeb crush. It would be like seeing the alternate version of me.
Exactly. Because here's the thing: I feel like if he was playing opposite of Bianca, he would suit Kiernan Shipka more. Like, I don't see him playing opposite Natalia Dyer. Because also, I think Natalia Dyer also reads a little bit older. So I don't know if she would be a good younger sister for Maud Apatow either. Like, maybe but also I would love to see the Maud, to see the Apatow sisters just like play sisters. And because I think they're both decent actresses. And so I feel like Maud is more an actress. I think maybe Iris is just like in college, not doing any big Hollywood stuff. But to find a soft boy opposite Natalia Dyer, like because she has such great chemistry with her Stranger Things co-star, but her Stranger Things co-star looks so similar to Harry Styles. I can't cast them both. But I couldn't find a soft boy who was still young to cast as like a sophomore in high school that could also match Natalia Dyer's vibe. So I feel like we're just gonna have to put this all on Kiernan Shipka, and I feel like we're gonna have to like, take a leap of faith and like see if she can really pull off this new kind of character. Yeah, or you can replace her. Just dye your hair blonde, and I'll cast Maria. But
Broadway, here I come.
Right? Oh my God. But yeah, so that was my cast, and again, sort of going for that TV show vibe, but on Netflix, not ABC Family, because RIP, but also Freeform sucks. But also definitely like taking a bit of like a darker tone. We're sort of ruminating in the already dark underlying tones of the movie, and just sort of like exploring those deeper, and then keeping the same sort of like humor and sarcasticness that the lighter tones of the movie already has. And also, I just want to see Harry Styles be funny on screen. I think that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, that's my last idea. And I feel like, so here's a controversial thing. This episode's already like an hour and a half. I feel like we're going to save the really good, really cool, really fun new game that I created for next week. Because I feel like to do it justice, we'd have to like take a solid 10 minutes to do it. And I don't want this to be 2 hours. So I think we're going to slide right into our finishing segment of Mad Libs. What kind of Mad Lib do you have for us today?
Today we're doing Mad Libs for president.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay.
We love politics. Actually, no. All right.
So, Savannah, can you give me an adjective?
Slimy.
Okay, I'm going to do plural nouns. I'm going to say ducks. Can you give me a verb ending in ing?
Boiling.
I'm going to do an adjective. I'm going to say it's an adjective. Wait. I'm trying to think of a good one.
Ooh.
What?
I'm just making sound effects to fill up
Oh,
the
I
gaps.
thought you said blue, so I'm going to go with blue.
Ooh, okay.
Can you give me a noun?
Sponge.
Okay. Then I have to do a city. So I'm going to do Chicago.
I was thinking Chicago in my head. Oh my God,
Oh my God,
twins.
not sisters, twins.
Twins.
Very
We're
good.
twins, Hallie.
Can you give me an adjective?
Identical.
Ooh. And then I'm gonna do a noun. I'm gonna say biscuit. Could you give me another adjective, but this time starting with G?
Starting with G,
Yeah.
an adjective. Gangly.
Okay, I'm gonna do an adjective starting with O. Ooze.
Ostensibly.
I was thinking oozy.
I like oozy, easier to spell.
Can you give me a noun starting with P?
I literally only thought of excrement. Pizza.
Okay, and then I have a plural noun. I'm gonna say backpacks. Can you give me a plural noun?
A plural noun. Cookies.
Then
I
I
wanted to
have
say cookie dough, but I don't think you can make dough into plural.
and then I have an animal. I'm gonna say sloth.
Ooh, I love sloths.
Okay, so I happen to pick the Republicans page.
Oh Lord. Okay.
So let's read it. Republicans believe in a slimy military, lower ducts,
True.
and boiling in school.
True.
The first Republican president was Blue Abe Lincoln. He kept the sponge together during the Civil War and delivered the historic Chicago Address. Another Republican president was identical Dick Nixon. He's famous for saying, "I am not a biscuit." Another name for the Republican Party is the GOP, which stands for Gangly Oozy Pizza. They also believe that
Accurate.
they also believe that backpacks have the right to make their own cookies. The symbol of the Republican Party is the sloth.
It's because they slow all progress that this country is trying to make. I liked that one. Nice. Woo. But yeah, I guess this is where we leave you guys with a little teaser for the next episode of like a game that we'll play next time. And then also let us know your thoughts on our TV show ideas, our reboot ideas. Let us know if you have any ideas for reboots and who you would cast.
Let us know in the description below. Make sure to hit that bell icon.
No, let us know in the comments below. You did it wrong.
What did I say?
In the description below.
Oh,
They
in the
can't
comments
add the
below.
description.
And make sure to hit that bell icon to get notified
Yeah.
every time we post.
Yeah, you can hit up the description if you want to find like a description of the episode. Also
Yeah.
the chapters, the different parts of the episode, but also more importantly, the links to our socials.
Yeah, so Instagram is at Zillennial Support Group, Twitter, ZSG Podcast, YouTube under Zillennial Support Group Podcast, email at zillennialpodcast@gmail.com. Please
Woo!
write to us.
Just say hi.
Please.
Just I don't know. I don't know if I'm still logged into the email or if I get notifications. Maybe our email's blowing up and just we don't
It
know.
is not.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. I think that's it for us today. We'll see you next time. And bye.
Bye.
Woo!